An uneasy silence hangs over the rugged mountains of Jammu, a stark contrast to the snow-capped peaks that define its beauty. Behind this facade of serenity lurks a growing threat, one that has stirred the Indian security apparatus into high alert. Intelligence reports paint a grim picture. Over 50 young, battle-hardened terrorists, their allegiance pledged to groups operating from across the border in Pakistan, have infiltrated the region. Their mission to unleash a reign of terror in Jammu, turning its picturesque valleys into a new battleground. These are not the homegrown militants of the past, fueled by local grievances and a sense of alienation. This new breed of terrorists, trained in the crucible of Pakistani terror camps, represents a different kind of threat. They are well-equipped, highly motivated, and possess a chilling ruthlessness. Their presence in Jammu signals a dangerous escalation, a deliberate attempt to open a new front and internationalize the conflict. The presence of these foreign fighters in Jammu is a dangerous development. It signifies a shift in strategy by terrorist organizations and poses a significant challenge to India's security forces. The rugged terrain of Jammu, with its dense forests and treacherous mountains, provides ample cover for these militants, making the task of tracking and neutralizing them all the more difficult. The forested mountains of the Poonch and Rajouri districts, once havens for shepherds and their flocks, have become the hunting grounds of these foreign terrorists. The terrain, a stark contrast to the open valleys of Kashmir, presents a unique set of challenges for the Indian security forces. The dense undergrowth, the treacherous ravines, and the lack of clear lines of sight make traditional counterinsurgency operations extremely difficult. In Kashmir, the army has developed sophisticated surveillance networks and rapid response mechanisms to counter militant activity. However, replicating these tactics in Jammu is proving to be a daunting task. The terrain makes it difficult to establish a strong intelligence network, and the lack of roads hinders the rapid deployment of troops. The rugged terrain of Jammu favors the militants, allowing them to move stealthily, set up ambushes, and melt away into the forests. The dense foliage makes aerial surveillance less effective, and the lack of roads means that any response to an attack is likely to be delayed. The Indian Army, with its long experience in combating militancy in Kashmir, is now faced with the challenge of adapting its tactics to the unique terrain of Jammu. The successful counterinsurgency strategy employed in Kashmir, which relied heavily on intelligence gathering, targeted operations, and winning the trust of the local population, cannot be replicated wholesale in Jammu. The dense forests and difficult terrain make it harder for the army to establish a network of informants. The lack of roads and infrastructure makes it difficult to deploy troops quickly in response to intelligence inputs. And the presence of foreign fighters, with their lack of ties to the local population, makes it harder to win hearts and minds. The success of any counterinsurgency operation hinges on the support of the local population. Winning the trust and cooperation of the people of Jammu is crucial to denying the terrorists the safe havens they need to operate. Faced with this new threat, the Indian Army has rushed reinforcements to Jammu, deploying additional troops along the line of control and in the hinterland. However, the initial deployment is stretched thin, tasked with securing a vast and unforgiving terrain. The army is acutely aware of the challenges it faces. The difficult terrain, the lack of infrastructure, and the presence of a determined enemy all combine to make this a difficult and dangerous mission. The porous border between India and Pakistan, riddled with natural crossings and vulnerable to infiltration attempts, further complicates the situation. Intelligence reports suggest that the terrorists are taking advantage of this porous border, using established smuggling routes and possibly even tunnels to sneak into Indian territory. The Hiranagar side, in particular, has been identified as a potential entry point. The dense forests and the lack of fencing in certain areas make it easier for militants to cross over undetected. Securing the border is a top priority for the Indian Army. However, given the length and nature of the border, it is a Herculean task. The terrorists are not limiting their activities to armed attacks. They are also engaged in a concerted propaganda war, using videos and social media to spread fear and incite violence. These videos, often featuring masked men brandishing weapons and issuing threats, are aimed at intimidating the local population and showcasing their strength. The Indian authorities are aware of the dangers posed by this online propaganda. They are working to counter these narratives and prevent the spread of misinformation, but it is a constant battle. The deployment of additional troops to Jammu has put a strain on the Indian army, which is already stretched thin due to its commitments along the border with China. The need to divert troops from the sensitive Himalayan frontier to counter the terrorist threat in Jammu highlights the complex security challenges facing India. This diversion of resources underscores the seriousness of the threat in Jammu. It also highlights the challenges faced by India in managing multiple security threats simultaneously. The recent attack in the Doda district, which claimed the lives of several civilians, has sent shockwaves through the region and beyond. The attack, a grim reminder of the very real danger posed by these foreign terrorists, has also sparked a debate about the adequacy of the security measures in place. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, in the wake of the Doda attack, held an emergency meeting with Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi. The attack and the subsequent discussions highlight the gravity of the situation and the need for a coordinated and robust response. The Doda attack serves as a stark reminder of the threat that looms large over Jammu. It is a call to action, a reminder that the fight against terrorism is far from over.